Hi, my name is Doug Johnson, and I'm President of National Demographics. I'm happy to have this opportunity to share with you a basic introduction to the features of Caliper's Maptitude Online Redistricting tool. This is one of the more powerful tools available to allow residents to draw and submit proposed redistricting maps or districting maps for their jurisdiction. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. As you can see, at the login screen, it's pretty straightforward. If you're a new user, you just click on New User. It'll bring up a box asking for the usual information, create your own unique username, enter a password, confirm it, your email address, do the confirm you're not a robot, and it creates an ID. You can immediately log in. I already have a login, so I'm going to go back to that and jump right in. Enter in my information, click login, and in we go. Now, when you log in, it asks you, typically a new user will not have any maps. Of course, since this is a demo account, I do have maps. But if you don't have any maps, not to worry. You click on New Plan, and it gives you options. You have, of course, a blank map option. Any maps that NDC or the jurisdiction has posted will be here as initial options for you to use as a template for your map. And then there'll be the Shared tab, which is all the maps that other users of the system for that jurisdiction have submitted. So if your friend has submitted a map and you like it, but you want to make some small changes to it, as long as they shared it, it'll be listed here, and you can use that as your template. Keep in mind, you're obviously not editing the other user's map. You're just using that as a template from which to start with your own. I'm going to start with a blank map. You should give it a descriptive name because this is the name it'll be referred to fairly often. I'm just going to call this Demo Map 11, just to be generic. And it takes a minute as it copies all the files, makes a map that's now your map, tied to your login. I should note maps are not available even to the admin side until you submit it or share it. So this is your map for you to play with. But until you share or submit it, it cannot be touched by anybody else. So it takes a minute to upload all these files. I'm actually on a fairly slow internet connection right now as well, but you can see it loads pretty quick. I'm using Santa Monica as a demo because that's our demo site. First of all, let me jump around the map a little, give you some orientation. Most important up here is your language box. You have various language options: English, Portuguese, Vietnamese, Chinese, various options up here, and they are constantly working on adding more languages to that. You also have tips. This is a very nice little quick scroll through the screen. It takes you through with a very brief description of what each part of the screen does. I highly recommend that you start by walking through this. It only takes a couple of minutes, but this is a great place to start. When you finish with the tips, you can always go back to that. And of course, there's context-sensitive help. So this help screen changes depending on what you're doing at the time. It tries to offer you relevant information to whatever task you're trying to complete right now. Very handy. Those of you that used this system before in previous projects, both the tips and the help are new, and they're huge improvements. And really, you don't have to go through training anymore. Just walk through the tips and you'll be ready to go. So that's the basic how-to. Of course, up here you also have contact information where you can get help at any time, generally by email, to answer any questions you may have. But if you need more help, we can always set up an appointment as well. So then you have your basic map here. You have these various boxes which you can open and close to get them out of your way if you wish by clicking on these 3 dashes. I'll come back to each of these in time. First of all, let me go up here to options. We're going to start with layers. These will vary depending on the jurisdiction and what geography is available. But you have various census geography like tracts, and you have various local geography like zoning information, bicycle network information in this case, business improvement areas. As you click on them, you'll see the map circle goes and it highlights and it redraws, showing the business improvement districts in this jurisdiction. You can also do historic districts. Whatever kind of level of geography you want to use that's available, you can use as potential indications of possible communities of interest. You can see the down here, the different parts. And for Santa Monica, I'm going to focus on the neighborhoods. Obviously, neighborhoods and community of interest are a big part of redistricting. So here you see the officially recognized Santa Monica neighborhood map. These are where the different associations are. For now, I'm going to close that. I'm going to switch over here to our map navigation screen. And you can see we've got zoom in, zoom out, various different options. Oops, close that. That let you move in around the screen, pan the screen, that kind of thing. So with that in mind, let me go next to your coloring themes. Come back up here to options. In addition to putting overlays on, you can also color the screen with different information. So this is listing, again, the layers that are visible right now. Everything from the state boundary to the city boundary, obviously water areas. You can see the blue water, census blocks, streets. I'm going to come in here and choose renters. And so census tract by census tract, this is going to color it in. You can see tracts are fairly large areas of the city, and the whole tract gets colored with the same color. But if you go down here, you can see the purple, less than 25% of the residents are renters, up to the red, 75 to 100% of the homeowners or residents in that area are renters, and the various colors in between indicate changes. You can get different information, education levels, what percentage of people over 25 are college grads. Again, it updates to show that. And you can see the different patterns. And again, it's the same color range, 0 to 25. We call it a heat map range. 0 to 25, purple is the lowest. The highest is 75 to 100%. And then you can also get our Voting Rights Act related information. This we get at a more precise level of geography. It's still estimated data, but we get it city block by city block. So you can see Latino citizen voting age population, very low up in the Montana Association area, definitely getting higher as we're along the freeway here in the Pico neighborhood. And you can get Asian American, Black or African American, and then total minority CVAP. Let me highlight that. This is the combination of Asian American, Black or African American, Latino, and Native American citizens of voting age as a percentage of the total citizens voting age. So we have the different colors you can choose to start your map. So once you've oriented yourself around the map, you've identified what communities you want to focus on, you've zoomed in if you want to zoom in, we'll come over here and draw our districts. So first you pick a new district. Obviously it's a new district since we don't have anything. We're going to put the territory. You can choose from all or unassigned. This will become more important later on. You can choose at different layers of geography. So the smallest is a census block. You can either pick one block at a time. Let me start here in the middle. And you can highlight an area. Crud. Okay, so, and again, as I was saying, you can select an area. Everything that this polygon selects will be, everything that this polygon touches will be selected. It's doing the math. Up here, if I move my face to the other side, you can see the changes. So the area that's highlighted in red contains new 3,332 people. And you can see we're 74% short of being a whole district. Total Hispanic percentage, it's 43%. And we can scroll down through the various data fields, get down into Latino citizen voting age. It's 35.3%. So we can continue to pick. We can click by one, as I mentioned, or, and then once it selects, so we picked a bunch of blocks. This is a start of our district. Obviously, it's not finished. So we'll say, yes, let's create district number 1. Okay. So district 1 is created. Oh, there we go. Let's create district number 1. And you see it's highlighted in green. This is now our target. Any census blocks that we choose, we put into district 1 and then come from any district. So we again come in here. We'll select a much bigger area. Select that whole area. And now you can see we're getting much closer, negative 21.3. Now you can see we're at just 1% deviation, 1% over. That's really close to a district. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to say yes. Now note, because these neighborhood overlay lines are on here, we've been following that neighborhood. That really is the city recognized neighborhood of Pico Neighborhood Association. There's some little stuff that we'll clean up later on. So now we've got one district drawn. We're going to move on and create a new district. Now we don't want to mess up our one district, so instead of choosing all, I'm going to choose unassigned. And now I'm going to start working on the next district over. In this case, we go with the Friends of Sunset Park. Essentially pick the whole area. Now, normally I'd be picking out of this, but because I'm only choosing for unassigned, it knows not to touch any of those areas. And you can see I'm way over. So I'll start with that. That's going to be my District 2, even though I know it's way over population. But there's something we can do about that. So now I'm going to start a new district, but I'm going to take out of district number 2. And so you can see I can do the same thing. I'm going to take the, once it redraws, and this time it's only going to select territory that isn't in district 2. And now it's down here in the pending changes, it's going to show me both the territory that's highlighted for my new district and the resulting numbers for my old district. See, it's saying minus 5,692, which actually leaves it way too short. I'm going to say no, I don't want to move that whole area. So I just simply say clear, and it clears that area. So let's take a much smaller area. We'll just take the southern portion here. And you'll see that leaves us much closer, negative 3.3% in District 2. So that's pretty close, at least for this first broad brush. So then this is the start of District 3. So it highlights everything. That's we know District 3. And again, you see the district I'm drawing into, my target, is green. The source, 2 currently, is red. And I want obviously more territory in 3, but I don't want to hit 1 or 2, so I'm just going to pick from unassigned. And just for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to choose this area down here. And again, I draw outside the area I want because it picks up everything it touches, but it's not going to pick up areas of 1 or 2. Okay. So you can also pick by circle. That I've never seen useful. And again, you can pick 1 by 1. So I click yes, move all those areas into District 3. Even though they're a little overpopulated, that's okay for now. Obviously, we did want to walk through the rest of the map and draw a whole map. Pretty handy. So, and as you saw, I can change. So you can come back and make edits, and you'll see changes ripple through the whole map. I can even, in this case, send to unassigned from District 3. If I don't want to put them into a district yet, I just want to send them back to unassigned status into the big pool of what's left. So I can just take this northern part of District 3 out. And see how it says, it gives me my population numbers right there on the screen. 14.9% over. If I take that out, it drops me down to 11.4%. That's a little bit better. It's still too big, but it's a start of balancing that out. And you see the result. Now, let's say we finish this map. Imagine we go through the rest of the map. Then the next step is plan integrity. Find unassigned areas. This will pop up a list. You can see we've got one big area and a couple of small areas here. And it will let you zoom to them. I'll actually zoom right in that unassigned area. And you can see here, This is my unassigned area down here. It's right next to 3, so I'll just say 3. It actually figured that out, chose 3. I can simply single click to pick. One by one, I click them each. And again, it's updating my numbers. It's a pretty handy way to finish up your map and make sure you don't have any unassigned areas, and as I'll show you, any non-contiguous areas as well. Okay, so now we selected this area. I assign all those to 3. And come back to my assigned areas map, I say update, and you see that area is now gone. I can zoom in on the others and fix those as well. Let's see, this one's surrounded by District 1 on the north, District 2 on the south. They've guessed I want to put it in 1. If I want to put it in 2, I just change that. Click, click. Wait just a second while it works. That block gets highlighted. Oh, there were more pieces to it. So I just click right down this right down the line. Hit the check mark to say yes, assign those. You see, again, no people are moving. Update this, and there's more to piece 2. It tells me I didn't catch it all. So I hit zoom in on the rest, and it goes down to the end. And again, we're here in 1 and 2. I'm going to move this to 2. And it takes a minute. All this stuff takes a minute as it does the work. Now it's chosen. And when I come right here to redraw, it's refreshed. And similarly, we got one more. So you can see, this software is really helpful at helping you find the little things that you haven't finished and clean them up. Of course, we got unassigned areas we have to be careful for. The other pieces I mentioned is we have to be careful for our non-contiguous areas. So as soon as this finishes, there we go. We're only at non-assigned areas, the big one. Okay, so that's good news. Okay, so we'll click this circle to go back to the initial map. This is the initial map is always the whole city. And see. So let's go. So find area, we did our unassigned areas. Let's go to non-contiguous districts. They're non-contiguous districts. Had it found any, it would have given us that same pop-up map and let us zoom in to assign those all. So now we know our map is complete. We know it's contiguous, but let's check our data. Where are we in terms of the data of each of the districts? We come down here, and this is the district by district details. Let's scroll through. So down here on the right, we have our changes. Down here on the left, we have our districts details, where it shows where all the districts are right now. Okay, so we've checked our data. We're happy with our map. We can actually come up here, and it's still showing the Latino CVAP, as you can see here. I'm going to change that to district ID. This is a handy map. It just colors each seat in. I'm going to change this to new districts so nothing's red and green. And it colors in. You can see District 1 is orange, District 2 is green, District 3 is tan. And so it's going to color them in. It makes it easy to see where your lines are. So now if I'm feeling good about it, let's say I want to send this over to someone I'm working on. Maybe I live down here in Sunset Park. I'm going to send it to a friend in Montana I'm working with and have them draw the north part. I can email this plan. It sends an image. It shows the data I was just showing you. And then if they have GIS software, you can send it attach that as well. But no need to. You simply type in their email address, type in the message, and it will shoot them kind of the status update. So if you're working with others, this is where the map is at this point. Give them a nice status update. If you're ready to actually send the map itself so that they can work from it, and this actually let anyone work from it, you click Share a Plan. And again, you give it a descriptive name, hit OK, and it becomes a template that anyone can use. So that would be your friend in Montana would now pick up the map and use that as a template and fill in the north. Let's say, though, you're done. You're not working with someone up there. You just care about the south 3 districts. You kind of want anyone else to draw the north. And so this is all you're going to draw. You're ready to submit. You hit submit a plan. It's going to give you some options. It wants your contact information. Not required, but we do recommend this. Obviously, whoever's drawing the plans is going to give more weight to your input if they know who it's coming from. But what is important is this narrative, this description. Lots of maps are going to come in. It's unlikely that one complete map will be picked just as it comes in. What tends to happen through this process is maps get revised. People pick the good parts out of one map, the good parts out of another map, and slowly put them together into maps. They don't know what your focus is unless you type in this description. So you type in the description in this case, maybe we'd say, I wanted to keep the neighborhoods in the southern portion of the city together in individual districts. That's just an example of what you could describe. You have 250 characters. You can always send a follow-up letter or email with more information if you want. But definitely type in that description so that the people making decisions know what you're trying to achieve. So even if they don't adopt your exact map, they may go with your idea and try to capture that idea. Type in your information, hit OK, and it's submitted. I'm going to cancel this because this is just a demo. So again, very powerful software, lots of different tips to help you draw lines, very handy toolbox, changes to help you know exactly what you're doing as you do it, plan integrity, that helps you make sure that your map is complete, that everything's assigned and that nothing's non-contiguous. Your layers give you lots of overlay options. You can look at what matters to you for communities of interest. Your options also let you color in your map depending on what data you want to see. And then you submit, and when you're all done, you log out. And that's really it. So hopefully you'll find this useful. And again, there's lots of features in here. The tips and the help are a fantastic way to learn how to use this system. Look forward to seeing your map.